Welcome to another fast and simple development video. Today we're going to talk about some Linux commands, and we're going to go over my top 10 Linux commands. Let's jump right into it. So real programmers use a command line. We're going to go over the basic commands. Let's start with the ls command, date, cat, more, and touch, pwd, make directory, remove directory, pwd, cd commands, removing a directory and file, the grep command, ps, find, xarg, and a bonus on top. So let's dive into these. We have a terminal here, and on a terminal we can see various files, but first I'm going to actually do a pwd command, and it's our present working directory. In this case right here, I'm in my home directory for the TJAY. I'm going to go into my desktop directory, and in my desktop directory I'm going to create another subdirectory called work. So using the mkdir command I can create a directory. So I'm not going to go into work. And if I look at these files using the ls command, I can see I have nothing in there. I can use the date command to see the current date, and I can use that to write into a file, and I'm just going to call that file 1. And if I do an ls here, I can then see the name of the file. If I want to see the size of the file, I can do an ls-l. And let's say I have several files here. I can do an ls-l and see the file dates and times. And if I wait a couple minutes here, I can go ahead and create another file. And if I do an ls, I can now see all my 4 files. If I do an ls-l, I can see the files and they're sorted by name. And I will see the bottom one has file 4, which was created a couple minutes after the other ones. If I want to sort that by file, I can list it by the size and the time, the -lt command, and now my latest file shows up at the top. So that's kind of nice when you're going through looking for files or modified log files and things such as that. Other commands you can do in here is we've created this work directory. Let me create a work2 directory. I can cd into the work2 directory. I can create files in this as well. And that file that I created, I can look at the date on it, and we can wait here for a short period of time. We can see that the current date has now passed the date of the file, and I can use a touch command to change the date of that file. So if I look at that file now, we can see that the date was updated. In addition, I can use a touch command to create a file. And if we look at this file here now, it has a 0 length, where the ABC file was created with the date, and it has the content of the date. I can look at the content of these files. I can use the cat command and type in the file name, and it will actually print a catalog of the contents in there. Now that I have these files in here, I create another subdirectory. I'm going to call that work3. And if I decided I don't want that directory, I don't need it, I can remove using the rmdir command. I can remove work3, and now that directory is gone. If I go back up to my higher level, I can do an ls-lt, and I can see that my work2 directory is in fact a directory, not a normal file. And if I want to see what's inside that directory, I could do an ls work2, but I probably want to know more information about that, and I can use a find command, do find space dot space dash print to find out more details about what's going on in there. Let's say in our work2 directory, we have a file in there, and this file in here is going to have some source code or something that we need to know about in there. I can create a file using the echo command. And in this case, I'm going to echo special stuff and redirect that into special file. Okay. Now if I cat out the special file, you'll have the special stuff in there. If I go back up to the top, I can see all these files at various levels. Going back into the work2 directory, I can now go through and I can find files that contain information using the grep command, and I can grep for stuff in all files. In this case, I see the special file has my special stuff in it. But what if I'm at a higher level, like my work level, and I need to find all the files that have special in them? I can use a find command .-print to get a list of all the files in my directory structure. But what if I want to get a specific one of these files? I can do a find .-name special -print, and it will tell me where I can find the special file. But what if I want all the files that have the word stuff in them? I can do a find .-print, which gives me a list of all the files. I can then pass that into a command called the xargs, and that expands the arguments. And then I can do a grep stuff. This will go through all the directory structure, take all the files, and look for the command stuff. There we go. And this right here, we see that only one file has the word stuff in there. The other two items on the shows are directories. So this is a quick way to find a file containing something within a large structure. When we are working in the environments, we use a cd command extensively. And that allows us to go up and down. If I just type cd return, it takes me to my home directory. And using the pwd command, present working directory, I can quickly see that. So let's go back into our work directory. Let's go into our desktop directory first, and then into our work directory. And then I can do pwd, and I can see the path that we're at. Other commands on the Unix that I use a lot is the ps command. The ps command tells me about all the processes running, and this is the processes for the current user. But I can also do a ps-eaf and find out all the processes going on in the system. And if I'm interested in all the processes on the system that are associated with something, I can very quickly filter those out. So I can run the ps command, and I can pipe it through grep. For example, tjay will tell me all the processes associated with my user. And I can quickly go through and filter those out even more. For example, and search for login. So here's the login processes running. I can combine more commands. I can grep tjay to find all the logins for tjay, and now I can see this. In addition to the ps command, there's also the kill command, which I won't show you, but theoretically, if I have a process ID of something running, I can kill that by putting in the kill command. Using -9 is a nicer way to kill. So as a bonus, let's go over the top command. Whenever you're running a system, it's always nice to be able to see what's going on. On this screen right here, I have a lot of content now. I'm going to use the command clear to clean that up, and I can run top, top. So top will go through and tell me about a lot of information. It tells me that the number of processes I have, how many threads it's running, the average load, the average CPU usage, and various other memory information on the Linux system. And this is nice to know if something's loading the system down. And I can quickly see right here that my number one process is my screen recorder. That makes sense. That's the heavy-duty task. And then I have other terminals running for overhead. Firefox is running, etc., etc. So by using the talk command, I can very quickly see what's going on. In addition to those being my most popular commands, I also have the VI command, which I use for a lot of my command line editing. And I can VI a file ABCD, and VI is a command line mode. You can learn more about that online, but I can create that file very quickly. Now that I have these various files here, I can do NLS-L, and an interesting thing I can do with my find command is something called newer. I want to find all files newer than a reference point. Well, let's use the reference point of file 4, and I can see that was created at 11:19 today. -print, and this will tell me all the files that have been created that are newer than that file. There we go. There's all the files that have been added since then. So that's kind of nice when you're searching for log files or configuration files, or you want to see, if some source code has been changed to determine what needs to be checked into your Git repository and such. I hope you've enjoyed that. If you like this video and you learned something, please subscribe. Please check out my other content on Udemy, my other YouTube videos, thomasjconsulting.com, and my blog. Thank you very much for watching this video.